One of the Trump administration's earliest moves was an attempt to end America's tradition of birth citizenship. It's now headed for a showdown at the nation's highest court. The Supreme Court announcing today it will hear oral arguments next month on whether the Trump administration can take steps to enforce its contentious proposal to end automatic citizenship for children born in the United States whose parents are neither citizens or legal permanent residents while litigation continues. The Trump emergency application does not address the legal merits of the plan, but only whether judges had the authority to put it on hold across the entire country. The Supreme Court has left the policy blocked for now. If the Trump administration were allowed to move forward with it, eliminating it could prevent an estimated 150,000 babies born in the United States each year from obtaining the citizenship that once would have been legally theirs. It would be undoing the accepted law of the land since 1868, when it was enshrined in the United States Constitution under our 14th Amendment, which plainly states this, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The Trump administration is claiming that, despite that clear text we just read you, that somehow they have the authority to ban the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship because unauthorized immigrants are in the country without permanent legal status and therefore are not subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. government. Judges in lawsuits in 22 states and the District of Columbia have blocked the citizenship ban. Oral arguments will take place pretty quickly on May 15th. Joining us at the table, former top official at the Department of Justice, MSNBC legal analyst Andrew Weissmann. Mitch is still here. Andrew Weissmann.
So there's sort of good news and bad news.
I feel like that's always the case. Either bad news and bad news or good news and bad news.
Yeah, no, usually these days it's bad news and bad news.
Right. Down and lower.
So some of this story is, this is the good news.
Okay.
The issue of birthright citizenship, every court that's dealt with this that I'm aware of, I think every single one, and from a variety of different political backgrounds of the judges, including a Reagan-appointed judge who said, where are the lawyers who thought this was a good idea? He couldn't believe how outrageous this was. So all the judges have said, no, does not work, and there are stays in effect. So that's the good news, and that's maybe the end of the good news. The issue that has gone up to the Supreme Court remarkably and so cynically is that this administration has brought to the Supreme Court a technical issue that they're not even defending the merits of their position. They have not told the Supreme Court, by the way, we believe in our position in birthright citizenship. Instead, they're raising an issue that has been kicking around for a long time that the Supreme Court has had many opportunities to address and hasn't, which is, can one district judge issue a nationwide injunction? Or should they just be able to issue just what's before them, and then you have a sort of crazy quilt of decisions, and eventually it gets to the Supreme Court if they take it? That's sort of this technical issue.
That's the nature of the law that Republicans are pushing as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And what's so cynical about that is when the Republicans were suing the Biden administration, they were all in on nationwide injunctions. But to be fair, it is...
So why did the Supreme Court agree to take it?
That to me is, why would you take this as the vehicle? Like, why this particular case? Now, they have left in place. This is also maybe some good news. They have not stayed those underlying cases. They have said, you know what, the stay are all staying in place. Sorry for too many stays in that sentence. And you know, this just reads to me like the administration wants this, or we're going to throw them this bone. I mean, like they want to take this up.
But is there a scenario where they win on the process, they agree to contemplate nationwide injunctions, and they both uphold them, and they don't get what they... I mean, could they lose and lose?
They could lose and lose. It is also conceivable that what happens is they lose on the merits, but because the it is now the Trump administration, they tell district judges, you don't have nationwide jurisdiction. In other words, the thing that the Republicans wanted when Biden was in office, they say we're taking that tool away. So it's much, much harder for people to stop if there's illegal action. Just think about that. You have to have multiple cases and multiple lawyers, CEG, the efforts to not have lawyers sue the government. And so it is taking a tool away from people being able to sue a particular administration. And what looks craven is this idea that you're doing it now when you could have done it. Exactly. And you could have done it in so many other cases.
Will you